Hi guys, compliments of season. Welcome to Podium Dynamics Academy. Welcome to Public Speaking School Online. My name is George Essien. I'm delighted to be with you. How's the holidays going? For me, I'm at home relaxing and preparing for how 2021 will be great. So here's what we're talking about today, what I'll be teaching you today. I'll be teaching you platform presence. How platform presence can enable you to become better as a speaker. And we can subtitle it, How to Create Your Own Atmosphere. How to create your own atmosphere. This is what it means. It means that you right now as a speaker have your own atmosphere. You have your own aura. You have your own magnetic flux. You have the presence, that you carry. And you must be conscious of it. When you climb the stage, when you go on the podium to speak, realize that there's an aura around you. And that aura, that presence plays a major role in your influence. People don't come for meetings just to hear you. They want to experience you. Your platform presence gives them that opportunity. So take down notes today as we begin to look at platform presence. If you're watching me on YouTube, well guys, on YouTube you can easily click on the subscribe button to get updates on great videos like this. You can also click on the notification button so that every time we have videos like this you can also be aware of it. So platform presence. My name is George, I'm a life coach, and I want to quickly define what platform presence is. If you're taking down notes, this will come in. This is very important. Platform presence is the courage the speaker has on the stage. The courage the speaker has on the stage. That's what platform presence is. Platform presence is the impact of the body language the speaker has on the audience. And for those of you who listen to me carefully, we know that in communication, three things are quite important. Three things influences. The first one is your words. Your words actually, as important as they are, constitute only 7% of the impact you have on any audience. The next most important thing is your vocal variety or your tonality. And your tonality constitutes, 35%, yes, 35%, or is it 38%? 38% of the impact you have on the audience. The way you sound will constitute 38%. And then the last one is your body language, and your body language constitutes 55%. If you look at these percentages, you realize that your body language constitutes more. So what that means is that when you climb on stage to speak, your body language has much more impact on the audience than your tonality and than the words you say. Your tone is also very important, 35%, but your body language has a lot of impact. Now, platform presence is the impact of your body language on the audience. So people come on stage and they are very weak, very disjointed body language. Their body language isn't strong, and they fail to realize that their body language is a major part of their platform presence. Platform presence is the energy the speaker brings into his speech delivery. And that's why when you speak, you should not be dull, rather you should deliver a lot of energy. Socrates talked about pathos being an essential element in persuasion. So you need to bring in energy, you need to bring in passion into your message, because that contributes to your platform presence. And the last definition is that platform presence is actually all the activities that go on the stage or on the podium to accentuate or emphasize the presence of the speaker. All the activities from the staging to the dressing, we'll look at that shortly and briefly, but all of these is what platform presence is. Now here's the point we're trying to make. As a speaker, you have an aura around you. Have you ever gone for a meeting before and then there's this conversation and somebody walks in and everybody stops to look at that person because he walked in? Maybe there's this thing about him, comes in with a presence, and then you observe that people became a lot more conscious of that person coming. Or have you ever walked into a place and then you notice that aura? Or somebody spoke prior and the next person who spoke, everybody paid attention. People were literally spellbound, captivated by his oratory, or by the way he mesmerized them on stage, or by the way he took stage control, he had stage control. Have you ever had that kind of situation before? Perhaps you have, or perhaps you haven't seen it. I want to become much more conscious of these happenings. People have presence. People have presence. You can sense your presence. People can also sense your presence. You walk into a place and people can sense your presence. You understand that? This is important. People even, and you have this intuition, you know that this person has a very foul spirit, or the person has a strong spirit, or the person has a stubborn spirit, the person has, because people have presence, people have energy that follows them. And life is about energy exchange. Life is about the energy you bring to bear. You're going to be an influencer, you're going to be influential and affluential, then you need to accept your energy. You need to accentuate, emphasize and push forth your energy so that you can influence people. Because platform presence is a must for the speaker. Someone says, how do you have platform presence? I'll tell you a lot about that. Let's just really go into that quickly. But here's the point. Another word for platform presence is charisma. Oh, this guy has charisma. Or platform personality. These are words you can use. So write this down. Keys to platform presence. What guarantees that you will have platform presence? I'll give you a few. Number one is thorough preparation and mastery of the subject. Thorough preparation and mastery of the subject. In other words, for you to have platform presence and be effective in your communication, you must prepare thoroughly. The question that goes in the mind of a lot of people is, what does it mean for a speaker to be prepared? Is it when he has the subject all together? Yes, that's true, but that's not all about preparation. Preparation is beyond just having the subject all together. The second thing that is also part of preparation is analyzing your audience, knowing what kind of audience you're speaking to, determining them, and preparing how you're going to engage them. We call it audience analysis, and it's the second part of preparation. The third part of preparation is determining your purpose, the aim, reason you are giving that presentation. So there are 5 reasons we give speeches. We give speeches to entertain, we give speeches to instruct, we give people to educate, we give people speeches to inform, and we give speeches to persuade. These are the 5 reasons we give speeches. So you want to determine in your mind, why am I doing what I'm doing? Why am I saying this? Why am I speaking to this audience? So the first thing is get your subject right. The next thing is make sure you analyze the audience and research them. The third thing is you must determine your purpose for the presentation. And the final thing is you must arrange yourself, arrange the sequence, the arrangement of your thoughts, or what we call organization of your thoughts. Where you're going to do your opener, when you're going to transition, when you're going to add a pause, when you're going to tell that story, when you're going to humor them, how you're going to close, what you're going to say. All of this is your sequence or your organization. And those 4 areas, the subject matter you have put together, the content. Number 2, the audience you've analyzed. Number 3, the purpose of the presentation. And number 4, the sequence of the organization. This is what shows that you are prepared. When you are prepared, fully prepared, and have a mastery of the subject, trust me, you will have some presence. Have you ever written an examination before, and you were very prepared? Well, how did you feel? How did you walk? How did you behave? You had such confidence, didn't you? The next thing that is a major key to platform presence is personal confidence. Personal confidence. Actually, confidence is birthed from knowledge. Confidence is birthed from preparation. When a man is prepared, he has some level of confidence. But beyond just having knowledge, you need to have personal. What does personal confidence mean? You need to believe in yourself. You need to have a certain level of certainty. When two people meet, the man who is more certain determines the direction of influence. When 2 people meet, the man who is more certain, who has more certainty, determines the direction of influence. That's why you go to the church you go to. That's why you're in that group. Because the leader of the group is more certain, has a level of certainty. He has a sense of direction. He has personal confidence. Certainty births confidence. Have you got to that point of certainty in your life where you know what you're saying, when you know what you're doing? Personal confidence will create an aura, a magnificent aura around you that will attract people to you and that will influence people. You need personal confidence. Number 3, great appearance. Keys to personal platform presence is great appearance. Your great appearance, by that, we'll look at that briefly. By that I mean dressing. The next thing is you have to learn how to use your voice. We call it vocal variety. That's the key to platform presence, and we'll talk about that shortly. The next thing is your stage control, managing what goes on the stage. And the last thing is audience engagement and icebreakers. So these are the things that you must pay attention to as you speak. Your presence is important. I have a few people I follow. I have a few people that I respect, and they have a lot of presence. For example, number one, I respect tremendously Fela Durotoye. Fela Durotoye is a guy who has a lot of presence. He comes to stage, he's speaking, he's dressing, the way he behaves, the way he carries and comports himself shows you that he has a lot of platform presence. Now, what are the things that makes Fela Durotoye unique as a speaker? One, Fela's unique style and presence projection is that he's very fast when he speaks. We call it speech pace. He's very fast, almost sounding like a preacher. He has engaging dressing. He dresses, he's more like a fashionista, as it were, engaging dressing. And one of the things I know about Fela Durotoye is that he has captivating and pictorial slides. I've never seen someone do or have such slides like Fela Durotoye. Captivating and fantastic slides. He also uses a lot of statistics and interesting facts. He uses a lot of statistics and interesting facts. One thing I know about Fela Durotoye is that he's a fantastic storyteller. He's a fantastic storyteller. And then he uses rhymes and quotes to project his presence on stage. Now, have you ever heard of the guy called Les Brown? Have you heard of the guy called Les Brown? Now let's see a few things. I've seen this picture before. Let's see a few things about him that projects his presence. Les Brown's style and platform presence projection. One, Brown uses a lot of quotes. He uses a lot of quotes and he references others a whole lot. He uses a lot of quotes and he references others a whole lot. One unique thing about Les Brown is that he has a unique voice. He has a very infectious laughter and a unique voice. Baritone voice, high-strung, fast-paced vocal tonality that makes him an appeal to people. Another thing about him is that he likes to tell long. He has a very interesting story about how he started. So his story is engaging and long. And then there's a unique thing about Les Brown, and that thing is that he always wears a traditional blue and black suit with fire and red tie. Blue and black suit with fire and red tie. Now let me talk about my mentor, someone I follow tremendously. I've learned a whole lot about peak performance from him, and that person is Anthony Robbins. Anthony Robbins is America's topmost motivational speaker. Topmost motivational speaker. One of the things I like about Anthony Robbins is that he's very, very engaging. He doesn't just want you to hear him, he wants you to experience him. And if you go for his over sometimes 7 hours, 8 hours, 20 hours events, it's all engagement, engagement, engagement throughout the presentation. Now, what are the things about Tony Robbins' style and platform presence projection that is unique, that projects his presence? Number one, he uses active audience engagement. Active audience engagement. One other thing I noticed about him is that he uses a lot of icebreakers. A lot of icebreakers. He uses his space. You never see him stand behind the lantern, or he moves all across the platform. He goes through to the audience. He's doing that all the time. One other thing you also notice about Anthony Robbins is that he uses quotes, facts, stories, and so on and so forth. He also very particular. He's a casual dresser. He doesn't wear suit like I usually like to do, and he has a fast-paced vocal tonality. So what am I trying to say? The presence of a speaker is important. You can start observing. There's something we call the law of emulation. You can start observing speakers and saying to yourself, you know what, how do I extract some of the ideas they share and then do what they are doing? Let's go into something very important as a major part of platform presence, and that is control. What truly shows that you have platform presence is that you have personal control. You have control. You have control of the stage. You have control of yourself. So there are two kinds of control. The first control is self-control, and the second kind of control is stage control. So what's self-control? For you to have platform presence, you must knock off any form of glossophobia. What's glossophobia? Glossophobia is stage fright. You must knock off any sign of glossophobia. Are you a speaker and do you have glossophobia? Do you have glossophobia? Are you suffering from stage fright? I mean, when you're speaking to people one-on-one, you're good, but when you have cause to speak to 3, 10, 20, 30, 100, 500, you begin to jitter. What are the signs that you have glossophobia? Maybe you, and sometimes it can be very extreme. I mean, I know professors that will literally cry because they don't want to stand on stage to speak. I mean, they can talk to their student, but when they're going to speak to a different crowd, they begin to jitter. When you start having extreme nervousness, you're very nervous about your presentation, that's a sign of glossophobia. Some people have sweaty palms and face and hands. Their hands begin to sweat. That's a sign that you have glossophobia. Their legs begin to knock, or their knees begin to knock. That's a sign that you have glossophobia. There are some people who are fair-skinned, and because they are fair-skinned, they have facial flushes and red face. That's a sign that you have glossophobia. The people who have watery eyes, they have a presentation, they begin to cry, literally, their eyes become teary. That's a sign that they have glossophobia. You want to give a presentation the next day, and this night you can't sleep. Sleep loss, that's a sign that you have glossophobia. Your tongue is tied, and maybe you're stammering, or usually you start stammering. That's a sign that you have glossophobia. Or your mouth is dry. That's a sign that you have glossophobia. People who have platform presence don't have glossophobia. They reduce it to it's almost non-existent, because the audiences can sense to a large degree whether you're confident or you're not confident, whether you're certain or you're not certain. And like I said earlier, when two people meet, two categories of people meet, the person who is more certain determines the level of influence. So imagine you going on stage and you don't have that level of certainty or that level of confidence, and you're speaking to a crowd of people. Guess what? Because they are more certain than you, because they have more clarity than you, they will influence you, make you afraid, and you do poorly as a speaker on that job. So what are the things you quickly need to do to gain self-control? Things you need to do to gain self-control as a speaker. And I mean, we have a course where we teach glossophobia as a course. We have it as a course. We teach you how to overcome stage fright. But I'm going to give you a few tips that will help you immediately to master glossophobia and become better as a speaker and develop platform presence. But one, understand that public speaking is a learned skill, is a mastery. It's not knowledge. Oh, I know how to speak already. I read books here and there. No, it's not knowledge, it's a skill. It's not just information, it's a skill. You need a teacher to guide you and put you through the process. You need to go to public speaking school to learn public speaking as an art. It's a skill, and so you need to practice. Number two, you need to give up the belief that you have to be perfect. A lot of people don't speak or suffer from glossophobia, from that malady, that malignant malady that hampers them from speaking in public because they think that they have to be perfect. Perfection does not exist in public speaking. We are only getting better. And also you understand that for you to do well as a speaker and for you to overcome stage fright, you need to practice. For you to have self-control, practice your line. Rehearse your opening, rehearse your close, rehearse your transition, determine your stories, practice. Use the tools for practicing. The mirror serves as your tool for practicing because it helps you to look at your facial gestures, it helps you to look at your body expressions, and your body language constitutes 55% of the influence you have on any audience. And then you also want to look at the audio recorder that you're using, because the audio recorder will help you to determine your diction and grammar, help you to determine your vocal variety, and help you to reduce gap fillers you may have. And then also it's very important that you must know what you're talking about, know your stuff, and know the audience. All right. And then finally, one way to overcome stage fright is to practice mentally. Now that's a different subject entirely, but you see, there's a rehearsal, there's a visualization technique that I can show and teach you that will help you to prepare yourself mentally for the presentation that you want to do. And we call it practice mentally, or we call it mental rehearsals. So self-control is very, very important, or self-governance. Having control of yourself, it adds to your personal confidence and creates an aura or a platform presence around you. Does it make sense to you? Now let's go to the second control. We said we have two controls. We have self-control, and now we have stage control. What do I mean by stage control? We're talking about a few things. You must, if you can, as a speaker, determine a few activities that go on the stage. So stage control speaks about all the activities that creates your presence and accentuates the speaker's personality. Public speaking is about perception. Public speaking is about pre-framing, how you want the audience to perceive you. So you do everything in your power to create the presence, and to influence them. So stage control is important. If you have the capacity to, there are things you can do. There are a few things that the organizers have to do for you. For example, one thing you can do for yourself is to dress sharp. Dress sharp. People will first see you before they hear you. Your appearance largely determines your confidence. Now, have you ever dressed in your best dress before? How did you feel? How did you think? How did you walk? What did you experience? How are you feeling? If you have a speaking engagement, dress your best. Dress with your best suit, your best clothes, and you feel that confidence already start, welling up from your inside. So dressing, your appearance is important. And of course, your appearance also determines the impression you have on the audience. You don't have a second opportunity to make a first impression. So you get careful about how you dress as a speaker. And oftentimes I tell speakers to mirror the audience, because a large part of communication is connection. Connection precedes convincing. A lot of times we want to convince audiences when we have not connected with them, when we have not developed rapport with them. So to develop rapport, you want to first mirror. What does it mean to mirror? You want to dress the way the audience will dress it. So I'm speaking to young people, how best should I dress? I will dress the way the young people will dress, with my t-shirt, my jeans, my sneakers, just so I can connect with them, emotionally connect with them. And that will help me to influence them. Your appearance is very vital. Okay, so even the colors that you choose, because there are universal acceptabilities of color, there is universal psychology of colors, and colors are important. Someone does go on stage and speak, they fail to realize that your presence is as a result of your appearance. Blue is a business color. You're going for a business meeting, wear your blue. Blue for a lady, wear your navy blue. For a lady or a man, wear your blue. Navy blue particularly, navy blue suit, white, red tie. That will fly for your business meeting. You're going to speak to some bunch of CEOs. That's the best way to dress. Mirror the consultants that they listen to. Mirror the bankers that they listen to. You're speaking to lawyers. Dress conservative, black tie. Mirror what the audience really truly is. So that you can connect with them. You're speaking to children. You want to get engaged children. You can go like a clown. Dress like the people they love, the people that they consider funny. They consider Mickey Mouse funny, or they like Mickey Mouse, they like Brownie, whatever. You want to mirror. That's how to influence people. Your appearance is a major part of the presence that you have on stage. A major part of it, and you don't want to joke with it at all. For a lady, you don't wear red. For business meetings, you don't wear red. You don't wear red because red signifies things like danger, seduction, romance, love. And so that's not the project. That's not what you want to project. You think it doesn't matter. That's my favorite dress. I want to wear red and go and speak. Fine. For you, it's your favorite dress. But the psychology of colors will impact on the influence. So people will start looking at the sexuality of your femininity. They're looking at the sexuality of femininity and not looking at the message that you're trying to share. So stay away from red when you're going for business meetings. Stay away from tight clothes, because your appearance determines your influence. Your appearance is your pre-frame. Your appearance is important. It determines, it's the thing you can control, and it's your stage control that determines your platform presence. All right. So this one, the next point, under stage control, you really cannot control this. Okay, a whole lot. You can't control a whole lot, but you can try. If you can reach out to the organizers, the effects of lights. Now this is important. What role does lights play? A whole lot. Do you remember Michael Jackson? Michael Jackson uses lights a lot in his presentations. In his stuff, he uses lights. I watched a movie. I watched the concert of Asha concert, and I saw how she used lights. These days, churches use lights. Lights. Make sure that stage is lighted up, because the thing about lights, and I think you don't have so much control about this, but the organizers have control, and if you can get them to do this will help you. The thing about light is that it accentuates your presence. It gives you ambience. Lights, yes, it gives you ambience. Number two, it brightens your personality. People can see your facial expressions, they can see your body movement, and they can be animated because of your animation. They can be excited. And this is another beautiful thing about lights flooded on you on the stage as you speak. It gives people a sense of hope, as opposed to staying in a dark room, in a state that is dark or not well lit. You will see that the hope, we live in a country in Nigeria where when there was lights, when there's light, there's some kind of hope and excitement. My children will shout up there. I mean, more than 30, I'm in 39, I'm going 39. And you see my children will shout and scream, oh, up Nepa. There's so much joy, excitement. They take the light and we are looking gloomy and not so excited. I mean, we have to go put on the generator. When we put on the generator, people are excited anymore. Because there's something about lights. There's something about light and hope. There's something about light and ambience. So as you speak, in any meeting you speak, make sure that place is well lit, and it will help you accentuate your presence. That's part of stage control. Another thing that is part of stage control is the quality of your voice. Now you have as a speaker, you have the opportunity to control your voice. You can use your voice very powerfully, and you must learn how to use your voice. Remember, public speaking is about perception. Use your voice. Develop a quality voice, and you can do it by training, like I've done over the years. If you have the advantage of a baritonic voice, use it. If you have the advantage of a feminine, sweet voice, use it. Now, a good voice must have 5 qualities, and that helps you project your presence. Number 1, a good voice must be pleasant, very pleasant, conveying a sense of friendliness. So when people listen to you, they love what they hear. A sense of friendliness. A good voice must be natural, reflecting the true personality and sincerity of the speaker. Don't try to speak like an American, because you really can't speak like an American. Don't try to speak like the British or the Briton, because you really can't speak like the British. And that's why I often tell people, I say, look, public speaking is not just about diction. Diction is fantastic, grammar is fantastic, and you want to go, it's about connection. It's about being who you are. So a good speaking voice must be natural, reflecting the true personality and sincerity of the speaker. Now, also very important as a quality of a good speaking voice, a good speaking voice must be forceful, conveying vitality and strength even when it isn't especially loud. So it doesn't have to be loud to be forceful. It should convey strength and vitality. A good speaking voice must be expressive, demonstrating various shades of meaning, never sounding monotonous or emotionless. A good speaking voice must be expressive. So when you speak on stage, express yourself. I tell my students, don't try to impress, express. Express, tell us who you are, tell us your thoughts about that subject, and you do well. A good speaking voice must be easily heard as a result of proper volume and clear articulation. Easily heard. I mean, I have people who come to me to speak, and I give them the mic to speak, in an audience, and people are saying, raise your voice, speak up. You're using a microphone, and people are still telling you to speak up, or to raise your voice, or to speak louder. What a shame. A good vocal variety demands that you are easily heard as a result of proper volume and clear articulation. You don't even need to use a microphone to project your voice, because the projection of your voice, the quality of your voice, your vocal variety is a major part of your platform presence. Your presence also comes from your body language, which we discussed, and your body language constitutes 55%, but your vocal variety, or what we technically call your prosody, constitutes 35%, and that is major in speaking. Does it make sense to you? So now look at what a certain French philosopher once said. I like to quote him. His name is La Rochefoucauld. La Rochefoucauld once said that there is as much eloquence in the tone of the voice, in the eyes and in the air of a speaker as in the choice of words. There was as much eloquence. So there's eloquence in tonality. There's eloquence in tonality. He didn't stop there. He said there's eloquence in the eyes. Just by paying attention to people and staring directly to people as you speak and not on the heads, you are eloquent. And he didn't stop there. He said, and in the air of a speaker as in the choice of words. In other words, there is an air around the speaker, and there is eloquence in it. Do everything in your power to accentuate, to emphasize, to make larger this presence. This is very important. So there's another thing that you cannot do so much about, but music. Music sets a tone and creates the atmosphere. And so some people, before they come to speak, they have some music played, either at the background or before the presentation is done, and this helps them to make sense. So let's look at a few others, and then we'll call it a wrap for today. Gestures and purposeful movements. Now, one of those days, I trained a certain lady, a very top entrepreneur, And I gave her opportunity to speak. Now, she was just speaking in front of me. And I gave her a speech to give. And she was pacing back and forth, front, back and forth, back and forth. And I told her, stop. Your movement should be purposeful. Your movement shouldn't be erratic or stand still. Give us an executive pose. Don't move here and there. And she did it, and she became better as a speaker. Your gestures are important. When you're speaking to a few members of the audience, then you use less gestures because they're few. They're less than 10 or 20. But you're speaking to a crowd of 100 or 200, your gestures need to be larger and louder. You need to really project your body language a lot more. What other things can you do on the stage that will enable you to become better? This last one we'll talk about today is called Icebreakers. Now we have a course where I teach Icebreakers. Icebreaker is a facilitation tool. It's a part of the facilitation toolbox. Facilitation is a kind of public speaking, is a kind of communication. It's not really public speaking, as it were. It's a kind of communication. And most consultants and teachers who train and speak, they talk a lot about facilitation method. If you're doing 5 hours, 10 hours of training, you talk about facilitation, not presentation. Now, in a facilitation model of communication, you do less talk and get the audience to use simulations, games, and activities that engage them so much. So through team bonding, Icebreakers, we can extend the meeting, extend that project or that program for a long period of time. I have an opportunity to train big organizations, and I use facilitation to push that stuff. So Icebreakers is an activity, is a tool, is a major tool in the facilitation toolbox. Now, Icebreaker is an activity or game that is used to welcome or warm up the conversation among participants in a meeting, team building session, or an event. So one of the things you want to put together as you speak is to make sure you have a lot of icebreakers to do. As a speaker, I have a lot of icebreakers I use to speak and engage the audience, and that has helped me to become a fantastic speaker, one of the best in Nigeria, as it were, one of the best invited all over Nigeria to speak and to train, because people want to see what icebreakers will use. So I have pictorial icebreakers, I have activities, I have games, I can use my hand, I can use paper, I can do a lot of stuff just to engage the audience. Bottom line today, friends, is that platform presence is what you need, and it will play a major role in your influence and impact. Notice that we didn't talk so much about your content. Yes, we have a time when we'll talk about content, and we have some videos already where we talk about speech preparation methodology, how to put together a content. We talked about the supposedly non-essentials, those things that are non-verbal, but still pass across cues and clues, like your tonality, like your dressing, your colors, the music, your vocal variety, and all of that. And your icebreakers that you use that determine how influential that you have. People sense you more than they hear you. People want to experience you, not just listen to you. So do everything in your power to accentuate and push forth your platform presence. I hope you got so much value today. Alright, so if you got value, click on the notification button if you're watching on YouTube, and then you can also click on the subscribe button so that every time we have this great stuff, you can learn from us. YouTube channel, for those of you who are watching on Facebook, is George Essien. I'm so delighted to work with you. God bless you. I'll see you some other time.